Give me what I need, give me what I want this speed.
13 races have been completed, and after our longest race of the regular season, there will be 13 to go before we fire off for the 2026 Chase for the Cup. Hi, hello, and greetings from Concord, North Carolina, as we bring you into tonight's coverage of race number 14 of the 2026 season of the NR2003 Mission BBQ Cup Series, the POW MIA 600, presented by Mission BBQ. Live from just northwest of the Queen City at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, welcome everybody to tonight's Intercast on the North American Sim Racing Network here on the NESRN booth. My name is Trey Wright, and it's 600 grueling miles of mayhem in store for us this evening for our second Crown Jewel event of the season and the official middle marker of the 27-race regular season. The POW MIA 600 has historically been a reliable indicator on who will make the chase for the Cup, and of course winning this race puts you in a long list of Crown Jewel winners here in the Mission BBQ Cup Series. And before we go any further into our pre-race show, this part is a week and a half after initially recording the race is when I'm recording this audio segment. But Thursday evening, we learned the untimely passing of Kyle Busch. It takes a lot to make the NASCAR and NR2003 World stop, but this loss of all weekends of the year here on Memorial Day weekend was too impactful to ignore on these broadcasts. As Eric Estep said last night in his Remembering Kyle Busch video, we lost the main character of our sport, but most importantly, we lost a husband, a brother, and a father. Were lost completely out of nowhere at only 41 years old. It just proves that life is way too fragile than a lot of us realize, and this unfortunately, with this being this untimely happening, after I recorded this race, of course, and the next week's race in Nashville, these will be the only mentions of Kyle Busch's passing throughout tonight's broadcast, as well as the next week's broadcast at Nashville. But we race in his honor tonight, next week, and for the rest of time here, and particularly in our longest race of the regular season tonight here at Charlotte. With all the talk of this being the point of the regular season where we can officially cue the Bon Jovi, we look to our standings exiting last week's race at the Dover Motor Speedway, where Igor Barreto took home his second career MBCS win and his first in nearly a year and a half. Starting at the top, where Keegan Thompson and Logan Williams each rose 2 spots in the standings to surpass Mateus Bento for the points lead, and those two in the 14 and the 17 cars are separated by a mere 27 points coming into the 600 here tonight. Thompson grids up in the 19th spot, and Williams will start in 23rd, and those two are going to be some of the ones to watch as they look to get their first wins here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Looking more down the order in the points, especially towards the cut line, we finally have 2 drivers outside of the top 10 with wins for the wildcard spots. So as it stands currently, Thomas Troxel in the 00 Toyota Camry would be the first driver on the outside looking in if the chase for the Cup were to begin tonight. He's currently 3 points back of Zachary Fitzwater for that top 10 start right down at the cut line. Well, the 9 of Danny Fallington and the 13 of Igor Barreto sit as the 2 wildcard drivers, winning at the Greenville-Spartanburg Speedway and the Dover Motor Speedway, respectively, for those 2 automobiles. Like we said earlier in the season, tonight marks the second checkpoint for teams to see where they are in the standings. And for some trending more towards the bottom, it may be time to hit the panic button to try to get a win and try and steer things in the correct direction before we get to the end of that third and final checkpoint of the regular season, the end of the Duncan month of speed, where it's really going to become clear who are going to be the favorites to make the chase for the Cup and who are going to be the outside looking in. But we can talk and speculate about the next 14 weeks until we're blue in the face. But overall, tonight is all about honoring those serving in our armed forces and defending our nation, serving as citizens both on foreign soil and on the home front, and of course remembering those who made the ultimate sacrifice to ensure that whether it be offline, online, or in real life, we get the privilege to go racing. As our league custom on Memorial Day weekend, we send things downstairs for pre-race ceremonies as we prepare for 600 miles of not only fantastic racing, but remembrance as well.
what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rugged red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
It's always my favorite tradition for the pre-race ceremonies here at Charlotte. And as for the track itself, it's pretty much your run-of-the-mill intermediate course. We're going to be seeing a lot of passing on the inside lane. That's really going to be the dominant line to start things off. And with the race distance of 100 laps here tonight, we will see at least 2 rounds of pit stops. And of course, as is another custom here for the POW MIA 600, right at the halfway point after stage number 2, we're going to be throwing a caution flag and holding a moment of silence down the front straightaway before we get the back end of this race kicked off. But overall, it's time to turn them on and grin them up here in the Queen City as we send things back down trackside for the most famous words in motorsports to fire them up for the 2026 running of the POW MIA 600 here at Charlotte.
Drivers, start your engines!
We are ready to roll off here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. 600 miles of remembrance on tap here at the first quad oval in NASCAR history, and looking for his first win in over 130 races. The 05 of Owen Miles sits on the pole position. Zachary Fitzwater to his outside, looking for his 3rd win in the last 4 races in that NS Racing number 99 machine. Go back in here to row number 2. The 2024 winner of this race, Matthew Hubert, starts the outside of the automobile that he won this race in with Dylan Matthews, trying to get her 2nd career MBCS win in that Otter Island Motorsports, hers Toyota Camry. Esteban Lasair looking for his 2nd career win as well. He's to the inside of fellow sophomore driver Michael Lewis, trying to get his 1st career win here in an MBCS automobile. The field heads down the back straightaway, all 42 cars rolling off. Starting deep in the grid, the defending winner of this race, Bradley Ream, in the big red number 2 Chevrolet Monte Carlo. He is going to have 100 laps to get to the front of the grid here tonight. And there are 4 stages in the event, ending every 25 laps, like we said. So drivers are going to have to come down the pit lane at least twice here this evening on a beautiful Saturday evening, just shy of Memorial Day. Chevy Silverado Pace Truck is down the pit area as Owen Miles, the Rochester, New York native, next to Zachary Fitzwater, the Australian, will lead them through the race's restart zone. Green flag is out and away. 600 miles of remembrance starts now. Dylan Matthews moving that 75 car down to the low side and off turn number 4. She is going to lead lap number 1 of of the POW MIA 600, and they're already stacked up 3 wide for second. Here comes Igor Barreto down to the low side and going way up the racetrack in the wrong direction goes the Rochester, New Yorker. Owen Miles is going to fall way outside of the top 10, and he might fall outside of the top 15. How about Keegan Thompson forcing the issue down to 14? And right off the start, if you get up on that high lane, you are going to drop like a stone, and that's exactly what happened in that 05 Fusion. Still on the outside of 3 wide, still hemorrhaging spots like he's a pumper. And meanwhile, back at the front, you've got about a 4-car breakaway for the race lead. Got Igor Barreto and another Dodge with Daniel Bouchard also in the mix as well. How about Eric Monaco in that Chevrolet back up to the front here in this 4 machine. Started this race inside the top 10, just outside the top 10 in 11th. In just 3 laps, he's already into that 2nd spot, right behind the winner from last week at the Dover Motor Speedway. And the funny thing about Igor Barreto, we still got plenty of time to go. We're only not even 3% of the way through this race here tonight. But if Igor Barreto were to win here this evening, not only would he become the 4th driver in NBCS history to win 2 races in a row, he would become the 2nd driver to do so, driving for his self-owned Titan Fury Racing. His teammate Mitchell Collins did that back in 2024 at the Michigan International Speedway and the Armory Digital Super Speedway. Back in that Tag Heuer number 71 machine. And speaking of that Titan Fury Tag Heuer Dodge, as Owen Miles has dropped all the way from first to last. Mateus Bento trying to find that 71 car. There he is, up inside the top 10 after starting inside the top 15, just on the outskirts of the top 15 in that 15th spot. He's already up to 7th that last time by. He has teammate of Campbell Marsh still looking for his first win as a sophomore driver. He'll go up the track. He'll lose a spot to his teammate. He'll lose a spot to Keegan Thompson and Zachary Fitzwater as well. My, oh my, that was not the start that Owen Miles wanted. He got pretty much shoved right off the gun. So he made his way up to 40th. Still a long way to go in this race, but a long way to get back up to the front. But the good news for Owen Miles, we still have plenty of time to go. We've got 93 more circuits around the Charlotte Motor Speedway to get things going. Of course, we got pit stops coming up. We got at least 2, maybe 3 sets of pit stops, depending on when these guys come down the pit lane. But as of right now, here in this opening stage run of 25 laps, guys are going to be getting really aggressive, and that inside lane is going to be getting really dominant. Daniel Bouchard stuck on the outside. Thompson moving underneath the 07. How about Logan Williams? Started this race in 23rd. He's already making himself known inside the top 10. And a plethora of Dodges up here in the top 10. You got both Logan Sport teammates running nose to tail right now. And currently, you've got all 3 Titan Fury Racing cars inside the top 10 currently, with Campbell Marsh bookending the top 10 here for Titan Fury Racing. You got Mateus Bento in here as well. Bento moving in the right direction. He's going to push Ryan Durrani into 3rd, and Michael Lewis drove that NS Racing 90 machine that's currently being driven by Bryce Egan. Here this season, he's in his own team. He and Angel Gutierrez coming together to form Mal Racing. Mal Racing got their starts here on the NASRN last fall with the Loves American Truck Series. I don't believe they were able to get any wins. Michael Lewis's program trying to get things going. In fact, they did win the championship for Mal Racing with Roberto Crown Jr. That's a fact that gets lost a little bit here. That Roberto Crown Jr. won that Loves American Truck Series championship back in the fall of 2025. And he's currently down in 31st in car number 21. But Michael Lewis does have a win as an owner, but he does not have a win he has a championship as an owner, but he does not have a win as a driver yet. And, you know, I don't think they had a win last year in the Lats as well as a team, so he is still looking for not only his first win as a driver, his first win as an owner as well, if memory serves me right. Could tonight be the night that happens? We got 3 wide. Campbell Marsh caught in the middle Esteban Lasser right behind this whole brouhaha. You go on board with a 64 just as they're able to figure out that 3 wide. And Campbell Marsh will slip back a little bit in that Stanley Tools 31 car. Got Rogel Dorn up here as well. He's on the outside of Lasser. Those two side by side down through the quad oval, just a mere inches away from one another. Dorn trying to get as much side draft as he can. Nearly runs a 64 up the track. And here comes Bouchard down to the low side of Lasser. Those two drag racing down the back straightaway. As the battle back in here for this 7th spot in the 07 along with Campbell Marsh and company. We'll take it away. Toby Murphy's also got the green light to come down on the inside. And already with about 11 laps to go in this opening stage of the evening, Esteban Lasser moving the wrong direction along with Rogel Dorn. Bradley Ream has moved in the correct direction as well. However, he started this race in 39th, has moved his way up to 15th this last time by. He's on the outside. He might be stuck on the outside. Danny Fallington tried to shoot the gap, thought better of it. For not only himself and for the sake of the rest of the field, we thank Danny Fallington for not trying to if-gap Carson Hocevar style. That's going to cost him a little bit here in the short run. Mateus Bento has also slipped back outside of the top 20, and he is going to want that gap with the freshman driver. Getting a little aggressive there. Unfortunately, he didn't have enough of a run to make a 3-wide bonsai move through the middle. This racing towards the back has been fantastic, but up front, it has been just as electric as well. 6 cars all breaking away from the race lead. You've got Zachary Fitzwater looking for his 3rd win in 4 weeks. And that would be a feat. I think we only had maybe Landon Smith Jr. complete that a couple of seasons ago. But not even at that. Landon Smith Jr., back in the 2020 season, he never won 2 consecutive races despite how dominant he was in that stretch. Keegan Thompson has never won back-to-back races. You know, Zachary Fitzwater just recently became the most recent person to win back-to-back races 2 weeks ago. And Michael Lewis is just trying to get his 1st win. And Ryan Durrani looking to get his 2nd win as an owner. He's looking forward to later on this season when we go to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. 2-time winner at that track for not only himself, but also American Motorsports. And Igor Barreto wants to get back-to-back wins as well. Become that 4th driver in series history to get back-to-back wins, and Logan Williams is just hoping he's not all contact. Oh, what a save! We were just about to say Logan Williams is trying to survive for a good points night, and that nearly went down the toilet. Ho, 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 Zachary Fitzwater nearly getting turned there by one of his championship adversaries, and we remain green. After one of the closest calls you'll see here in 2026. Wow. I thought Logan was going to turn him coming down on the back straightaway, but somehow Zachary Fitzwater was able to keep that Krispy Kreme forward pointed in the right direction. And how about these blue ovals in the early part of this run with 5 laps to go in stage number 1? Got Michael Lewis here leading in a Ford. You got Zachary Fitzwater and Ryan Durrani. They're both blue ovals as well, but Matthew Hubert trying to make his way up. He's currently in 13th, battling with Dylan Matthews for a good spot inside the top 10. How about Bruno Diacomo in this 79, just on the outskirts of this top 6 battle? You know, ever since that organization got that win at Bridgehampton and the turbulent week that followed thereafter, Bruno Diacomo has been having himself a pretty good return to that 79 car for the sophomore driver. Of course, he hasn't really been able to turn it on a whole lot over on the FMGTC side of things. He's had a couple of really good runs, but overall, after starting the season off with a bang, literally. Now, in the roar before the 2.4, you know, he hasn't been able to get a win. He has been able to get a couple of top 10s, and I think he might have one top 5 on the season here in the Cup Series. He could be working on something right here and right now. He's up to 5th in the 79 car. Dylan Matthews has dropped back a little bit in the 75, but Otter Island Racing being represented in the front half of the field right now. Caleb Rose, the Colonel, trying to get inside this top 10 here with 2 laps to go in stage number 1. Currently runs that 32 car in the 12th spot. Matthew Hubert hot on his heels. Braden Perez a little bit deeper. Not sure if he's going to be getting stage points. And, of course, the boss man for Pacific Racing, Brennan Wilmington, is pretty deep in the pack as well. Here we go. It's the bell lap in stage number 1, and Igor Barreto might have a say on who wins this opening stage of the night. Zachary Fitzwater trying to take third away from Logan Williams, and Barreto drawing a pretty good beat on that 54 car. He's going to have a pretty good run on him going down the back straightaway. Really good corner exit there for Michael Lewis, and that might all be all she wrote here for this opening stage of the night. And it will be. Stage number 1 will go to the owner-driver of Mal Racing, Michael Lewis. Win the opening stage here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and I believe Keegan Thompson just barely edged out Campbell Marsh for that final stage point. He indeed did, by only 1/100th of a second there over Campbell Marsh. Couldn't get any closer than that. Actually, it was a little bit more. It was about 3/4 of a 100th of a second there, but overall, pretty close battle for that final stage point. We're off and running here in stage number 2. As Mateus Bento has slipped back into 41st, checking back on where Owen Miles currently races right now, along with Reggie Fogelman and Wyatt Walker. Those drivers currently in 26th for the pole sitter tonight after falling back early. We got contact up through here as Eric Monaco got shoved up. Not sure what happened with Monaco, but he has got a ton of driver's side damage. I believe somebody roughed up that 4 car, or he was trying to come down the pit lane a little bit earlier than we anticipated. But nonetheless, that's going to be a setback for the Unionville, New York native, and everybody trying to clamber to the inside of that Pennzoil Monte Carlo. He is going to be losing a lot of spots, and you see the laundry list of drivers down on that lower lane. Tough break for Monaco as he is in a tie with Keegan Thompson. Has been in a tie with Keegan Thompson as the winningest driver in NASRN history. 3 wide back through here as Wyatt Walker starting to make his way a little bit north. These tires are really beginning to wear out. Fastest lap of the race, a 26.4, set by Michael Lewis as he's going to fall all the way out of the race lead. And right now, this last time by, Igor Barreto running a 28.1, so already about 2 seconds of fall off for these drivers. Just 5 laps removed of our opening set of pit stops on the evening here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, but all 42 cars remain in the running. Like we mentioned, Bryce Egan currently in the back of the pack, and the 2 leaders in the Rookie of the Year battle not having the best of runs here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, but there's still plenty of race to go. There's still plenty of time to make your way up, especially on pit strategy, and that's where things are really going to get crafty. And who's going to be the first one to pull the trigger is going to be the million-dollar question. I wouldn't be surprised to see a driver like Daniel Bouchard or even a driver like Michael Lewis, somebody that is desperate to try and get a win, desperate for some points, to be the first driver to pull the trigger and come down the pit lane, because typically here at Charlotte, the undercut is the way to go. And this window is going to open up this next time by, so I don't see any hands out the window just yet. But these drivers are going to be screaming for fresh Hoosiers. Do we have any takers? We are. It's going to be Igor Barreto and a plethora of other drivers. Toby Murphy very late. Logan Williams even later. Oh, and Williams runs right into the back of the 38, and those 2 cars that were first and second on the pit lane destroyed, and that is championship implications for Logan Williams, and that's enough to take him out of the POW MIA 600. Oh my lord, Logan Williams way too late jumping on the brakes. And that will relegate him to a last place finish. Nathan Stapleton also really slow, and he nearly ran over the 79 as well. And also Mateus Bento ran to the back of somebody. Oh my goodness. 2 drivers inside the top 10 in points. are essentially going to be taken out of the race here. It was Dano Georgia that got run over by Mateus Bento, and that is not only 2 championship-eligible drivers, then it's Matthew Hubert also ran into somebody as well. Green flag pit stops producing so much drama as Zachary Fitzwater is going to beat out Igor Barreto here. Coming around to 16 laps to go until our halfway break. But Logan Williams, as well as Mateus Bento, 2 drivers that were running inside the top 10 at the time, are going to be knocked out here, and it looks like Bruno Diacomo, if he's able to get up to speed, oh, he might have a ledge here on Zachary Fitzwater. How about Igor Barreto with an incredible run through the corner? Matthew Hubert's down the pit lane, and I believe that might be the end of his competitive night as well, potentially the end of his night proper. Thought I saw one other driver down the pit lane too, and Brennan Wilmington, an extended stop for the 62, so drama for so many drivers inside the top 10 in the championship. Green flag pit stops here at Charlotte get wild, and they were certainly wild just now as Logan Alexander being scored as the race leader right now. I believe he came down the pit lane, so I believe it's going to be Bruno Diacomo who is going to be cycling out to the leader, and he will. So it's going to be Diacomo, Fitzwater, Barreto, and somehow Toby Murphy with no rear bumper on that Tamiya Dodge. They immediately grabbed the Sawzall, sawed it off, and they are out there running in 4th, but they're going to have not a whole lot of rear downforce. That is not something that you want here, especially right off the restart, which we are going to be getting a caution here in the next 14 laps. But my, oh my, 3 cars knocked out of contention at least. Matthew Hubert pretty much destroyed there in the 23 machine, and he is going to go down multiple laps. Currently, Nathan Stapleton would be getting the free pass here. The way things run right now, and he is essentially going to be getting the free pass. He is the only car that is only 1 lap down. I'm not sure what happened to Brennan Wilmington, though. He has been down the pit lane for a while. I'm not sure if he maybe got jostled out of line there, but that's the way things have gone here for Pacific Racing, as their other 2 cars running 5th and 6th right now with Caleb Rose and Braden Perez. And that has just been the strange season it's been for Pacific Racing, where whenever Brandon Wilmington is running his A-game, he has been electric. Same cannot be said for his other teammates, and then vice versa when his teammates are running well. Brandon Wilmington not able to put it together. And he will be easily down 6 laps after a miscue on the pit lane, after he was already running towards the back end of the field. 10 laps to go in stage number 2. Bruno Diacomo remaining out front with Igor Barreto right behind him. And again, we mentioned it a little bit, and now, Toby Murphy, something happened there to Bruno Diacomo. He blew a tire. He does have a flat tire. That was right in front of Toby Murphy. He ran into him, and now Igor Barreto might have an issue as well. So the race leader out of the race with a flat tire, and the yellow flag is out as Bruno Diacomo slow on the racetrack. He is stopped after a flat tire in turn 2, and this changes everything. And after all of that, Caleb Rose is going to be the race leader. Oh my lordy. That is such a tough break for Bruno Diacomo. A tire issue from the lead will put him under the caution flag, and Nathan Stapleton is pitting with everybody else. So So I believe he may have beaten the 32 car back, but my goodness, we talked about, we were talking about Bruno Giacomo a little bit earlier on, and then he had some sort of issue. I thought the caution flag was out. He just about got railroaded. And everybody coming down the pit lane. Hopefully it's not as chaotic. And Caleb Rose, oh, he's going to be hit there by the 5. Oh, my Lord, that might take Cole Sampson out of the running as well. He is going to have to be towed back too. And the hits keep on coming. Pit road has been a dangerous place tonight. Eric Monaco also being bodied as well. And, well, this is going to shake things up aplenty here in the pits. As we had 2 cars that stayed out, they're both off of the lead lap, and I believe Nathan Stapleton might be on the tail end of the lead lap. But Braden Perez is going to cycle out to be the race leader, and Caleb Rose will cycle out right behind him. So Pacific Racing is going to go 1-2 here under this first caution flag, and we're only going to have maybe 5 laps to go in this opening stage, or the second stage of the evening before our halfway break. It's been a crazy one here at Charlotte. That's just how we roll in the Mission Barbecue Cup Series, as Braden Perez will lead the field around here in the Hulu 92 under our first caution flag of the night here in the POW MIA 600 at Charlotte. So what was looking to be a promising night for Bruno Giacomo quickly going down. A flat tire going into turn number 1. Toby Murphy sideswiping the 79. How about Caleb Rose threading the needle, going from 5th to 1st in about 3/4 of a mile. He led the field down the pit lane here, coming back to the caution flag. But that is such a tough break for Bruno Giacomo, as he was stopped halfway down the back straightaway. He could not make it back with that flat tire. That is really going to shake things up here coming off of the pit lane. But under our first caution of the evening, and Braden Perez led them off of the pit lane. We'll see what that 92 can do here on the restart. We are about 10 laps away from our halfway point here in the POW MIA 600. We're back here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, cleaning up caution number 1 of the evening. And we're going to get this race restarted with 4 laps to go in stage number 2. Just making his way back out on track was Bruno Giacomo, who is currently going to be 2 laps down. Braden Perez will lead them back through the gears here in just a couple of moments. Pace truck coming down the pit lane. And here, with 4 laps to go in the second stage of the night, Braden Perez, Caleb Rose, and Zachary Fitzwater, your top 3. Michael Lewis and Bradley Ream will be the top 5. Ooh, a little bit of a late jump there, or early jump there for Cole Sampson. Green flag back out in the air. Sampson was a lap down. So that's going to be a little bit of a miscue there for the 5. I'm not sure if that's going to be a penalty there for Sampson, who is already a handful of laps down. Meanwhile, Braden Perez currently in a battle with his Pacific Racing teammate, as those two going nose to tail here. So it was 5 laps to go. Now it is 4 laps to go here in stage number 2. And Pacific Racing going side by side, and Braden Perez on the outside lane might fall a little bit off here. Oh, Caleb Rose in the outside wall just a tad. Here comes Zachary Fitzwater. Fitzwater down to the low side. Up the racetrack goes Bradley Ream, will remain green. And Zachary Fitzwater will go to the top spot. Michael Lewis right next to him. And we got plenty of action back in here as all these drivers waiting to come down the pit lane once again here this next time by here in just a couple of laps, with a caution flag looming here in the next 3 laps. Perez going the wrong direction. How about Corey Case? First time we mentioned the defending champion tonight. And how about Wyatt Walker as well? Wyatt Walker with 2 laps to go in stage 2. Started this race pretty much in the dead end of the field in 33rd. He's made his way up to 3rd as Danny Fallington and Angel Gutierrez also making themselves known. And this has been about as natural of a cycle race as you can get here tonight. with a lap and a half to go here at the mile-and-a-half-long Charlotte Motor Speedway. Here we go. Final lap in stage number 2. We'll wait for Matthew Hubert to come back around once again to throw out the caution flag, but Zachary Fitzwater has been a man who you cannot beat over these last couple of weeks. 2 wins already. They were back-to-back. Didn't quite get the win 1 week ago, but we still got plenty of time to go in this race, but he's going to get another win here tonight in some sort. 3 wide for third there as Zachary Fitzwater right at the halfway point will win stage number 2. So field will cross for home, waiting on Matthew Hubert to throw out the yellow flag here tonight for the halfway break. Hubert will see it. He will cross the line. And that will do it here for the opening half of the race. Zachary Fitzwater will win this second stage of the night, and everybody will slow down, wait for the pace truck to come out. Don't arc a brake into anybody, folks. Do not arc a brake into anybody. And it looks like Cole Sampson, after all of that, will be getting the free pass there in the 5 machine. And do we get any takers coming back down the pit lane? We're going to get Braden Perez. Rogel Dorn as well as a pace truck waiting to catch up to everybody. And this might be a little bit of a stack up. Doesn't look like there's going to be a stack up. And the pit lane is open, so those are legal pit stops for those drivers. The weird part of racing, especially doing these stages, is we got a little bit of strategy here. Where it looks like Bryce Egan, would he just do a gas and go stop there? He, just took left side tires. Everybody is going to have to make at least one more pit stop in the race. But what a race it has been here tonight, and looks like everybody that was going to make a pit stop will make a pit stop. And that will do it here for stage number 2. You see the results on your screen. And what a race it has been here tonight. 2 cars out of the race, both of them on pit lane incidences that we didn't even put us under the caution flag for them. But while Zachary Fitzwater leads, the American flag will be displayed at the start-finish line. We'll quickly go into our halfway salute here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, part of our festivities here for Memorial Day weekend here this weekend. And as is per tradition here in the Mission Barbecue Cup Series, we're at the halfway point in the race. And as the field will stop on the front straightaway, the American flag has been displayed from the flag stand. We will halt the field for a moment of silence here to honor all of those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice defending our nation, the freedoms we are entailed to here in the Constitution. So we will pause for a moment of silence. The cars will stop on the front straightaway. We're back at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, wrapping up caution number 2 of the evening after a very solemn moment of silence on the front straightaway. Part of this whole weekend of Memorial Day festivities here on the North American Sim Racing Network. We're going to be off and running here with 45 laps to go in this race. Zachary Fitzwater leads, Wyatt Walker right behind him, and Danny Fallington rounds out the podium. Coming back to green, nobody that was in the top 5 of the grid came down the pit lane. Green flag back into the air. We can officially cue the Bon Jovi in this one. We're halfway home through the POW MIA 600. Matthew Hubert drawing back, and Zachary Fitzwater drawing ahead of Wyatt Walker. A couple of cars being held up on the outside lane. Back through there as well. We've got a pretty big jam up back through here as trying to take advantage of some drivers being on top of one another. There was the 13 of Igor Barreto. He has got the preferred line on the inside. Back in here, Zachary Fitzwater currently has a buffer with Bruno Diacomo, who had an opportunity to take the wave around, came down the pit lane instead, and he's going to be looking for a caution here to put him back on the lead lap. Ooh, Brenna Wilmington nearly producing that caution there as Angel Gutierrez nearly breaking sideways in the 18. Gutierrez up in that second spot, and now trying to get himself back on the lead lap proper there was Bruno Diacomo. Again, remember, he did pit, so he's got slightly fresher tires than everybody else, and now with Zachary Fitzwater being on the outside, that's going to bring Angel Gutierrez to the race lead. Logan Alexander being up here as well. Corey Case slipping beneath the waves a little bit there. And Angel Gutierrez out front looking for his 3rd career win in the Mission Barbecue Cup Series. And the Fords have come back out in droves, and Dylan Matthews in a Toyota, however, bringing up Aaron Abel. First time we've talked about Aaron Abel here tonight. And there he is up in that 48 machine. Pushing Dylan Matthews up to 2nd, but Angel Gutierrez currently leads, and Braden Perez was some sort of issue in the 92. I believe he received a restart violation. So now, with Braden Perez being 1 lap down, and Bruno Diacomo, for Braden Perez to get back in the running, he desperately needs a caution to come out, and Bruno Diacomo not to be put a lap down by this 18 machine. And Brennan Wilmington, I think if Brennan Wilmington, who's already 5 laps down, he's not going to try and help this 18 car, because if he pushes this 18 in front of the 79 and a caution flag does in fact come out, that is really going to hurt Braden Perez a lot, who's already a lap down. He might go 2 laps down the way this field has been running here tonight. But that's an unfortunate situation for another Pacific Racing driver. And how about Owen Miles? We talked about it right as he went from first to last in the opening 5 laps. There's still plenty of meat on the bone in this race, and he has clawed his way back up to 4th. With 40 laps to go here in tonight's race, and Aaron Abel up front as well. Abel trying to get that HTO 48 machine its first win in quite some time. Juan Rodriguez was only able to get 2 wins with that car, wasn't able to get any wins with it last year. And Abel, the rookie, highest running rookie on the grid, with Wyatt Walker a little bit behind him. And again, Mateus Bento's out of the race. Bryce Egan has had his issues tonight. He's back there with Alexander Rowe and Russell Blaze. Haven't really talked about that City Chevrolet Monte Carlo and its home track here at Charlotte. But he's starting to turn it on, up to 13th that last time by. And this second stage is going to end lickety-split, but all these drivers right behind Bruno Diacomo, and you got to feel bad for Bruno Diacomo bringing out that first caution of the night. And then ultimately being 1 lap down as a result of it. Finally back on the tail end of the lead lap, and he is praying for a caution flag to come out right now. But Angel Gutierrez looking to get around that 79 car. Ooh, here comes Abel, trying to take advantage of that turbulent air behind that 79, side by side for the race lead, and Aaron Abel will go to the race lead as the rookie. Rookies have had relative success here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Go back to Matthew Hubert, got his first career win here. Same thing with Jesse Turner. They got both done it as rookies. And now Brennan Wilmington, he is a non-factor in this race. He is 5 laps down, currently the last car remaining on track. I think he's just trying to keep these cars at bay as Matthew Hubert, speaking of a driver, that won here as a rookie. He is very slow, and he is going to be holding up this grid quite a little bit here with 10 laps to go, coming around to 9 laps to go in this third stage. It's been a fun one so far tonight. Only 2 caution flags on the board, one of them for incident. And Angel Gutierrez trying to get that Ford back out in front, but Matthew Hubert is about as slow can be, and here comes the rest of the pack closing up quickly on that Zinn machine. Bruno Diacomo is going to be the first one to catch up to him. He's going to have to check up, and here comes the accordion. Everybody checking up, everybody trying to get around that 23 machine. Dylan Matthews is going to be squeezed high, 3 wide back through there, and oh my. Owen Miles had to force the issue, and Dylan Matthews going from a hero to a 0 as everybody is going to also move around Bruno Diacomo. Brennan Wilmington makes it 3 wide. Wow, he didn't need to do that whatsoever. He did anyway, and Aaron Abel shot out of a canyon way out to the race lead. And keep in mind, we still got one more pit stop in this race. We still have 32 laps to go here. And these guys still racing like it's the last lap here at Charlotte. Oh my goodness. I really don't know why Brennan Wilmington decided, you know what, I'm just going to bomb it in. 3 wide, nearly taking Angel Gutierrez out of the race, because if the caution flag does come out, which the way they're racing right now, it very well might come out. And that's not going to help Braden Perez. Perez, who's only a lap down, needs all the help that he can get. He can take the wave around, but everybody's going to need to pit if the caution flag does come out soon. This race still far from over. 6 laps to go in stage 3. And after that, it's going to be a 25-lap dash to the end of this race, and what a race it has been here so far this evening. You've had comers, you've had goers, and you have had so much drama. How about Zachary Fitzwater moving his way back inside the top 10. Up to 10th that last time by Russell Blaze, up inside to 9th. And everybody's still just trying to catch up to that Stealth Motorsports. God, I'm trying to remember the name of Alexander Rowe's team. Fallout Racing, that's what it is. That Fallout Racing 48, big checkup on the outside lane. Wyatt Walker is going to slip back in the 19. But everybody trying to catch up to that 48 machine, and Fallout Racing trying to get all 3 of their cars into victory lane in the opening 14 races. And that'll be something for Aaron Abel, who's really struggled in the early portions of this season. He's currently in the bottom 21 in points. It's been a non-factor in the Rookie of the Year battle, but a win here tonight could do absolute dividends for him. Same thing with drivers like Caleb Rose, like Owen Miles, like Angel Gutierrez. Of course, a guy like Logan Alexander, we mentioned that he's just looking for a solid top 10, top 15 run here. And how about this? He's inside the top 5. He ran really well at Dover last week. That jumped him up 5 spots in the point standings. And go back in here trying to find where Keegan Thompson is, and he is there. Towards the middle portion of the field in the 20th spot. So he's fallen back along with Dylan Matthews. Final lap in stage number 3. Aaron Abels, we got 1 car down the pit lane. It's Alex Sanvitale who's going to pit early. And here we are on the final lap of stage 3. Everybody's going to pit with 25 to go. And the points at the line. Owen Miles going to win that 3rd stage. So stage points being sacrificed for pit strategy. And here we go. This is the money stop. With 25 laps to go, Owen Miles is going to win the final stage. And this is going to be interesting. These drivers all coming down the pit lane. We saw drama coming down the pits already tonight and some contact there. Charlie Davenport ran into the back of, I believe, Keegan Thompson. Not a whole lot of damage on the 14, a smidge of damage on the 98. Here we go. Dano Georgi, remember, he got ran into on the last set of pit stops. Owen Miles down. A little bit of contact there for the 07 as he nearly gets run into by Zachary Fitzwater. It looks like Rogel Dorn, Riley Sampson, a couple other drivers stayed out this last time by. Got cars exiting the pit lane. You got cars coming back down. There's Esteban Lasser making his final stop of the night. And like we said, this undercut is going to be the one to watch. Owen Miles being beat off there by the 58 of Logan Alexander. A slightly faster pit stop there for his teammate, but Aaron Abel's going to blow on by both of those drivers. And the Dracoan Racing teammates are going to come off nose to tail for the moment. Russell Blaze and Danny Fallington might have a say about that. And once again, Matthew Hubert is going to be in the way of these drivers, but Aaron Abel will be cycling out to the race lead the way things run right now. And I believe Braden Perez has come down the pit lane because he's currently being scored in front of Aaron Abel. Trying to see where everything is. The timing and scoring here with GNL on my monitor is still quite a ways behind, as everybody is able to move around Matthew Hubert, who is just trying to get as many points as he can. 4 laps down there in 39th. But I believe, Braden Perez currently being scored as the eventual race leader. He might get a lap led here, or another lap led, but Aaron Abel on much fresher tires will zoom on past him. Same thing with Caleb Rose. He's got to back off a little bit here. And Rogel Dorn still being scored. Dorn is still being scored as the leader, but trying to see. Yeah, he is in first right now. And he has made his final pit stop. Trying to see once this all shakes out, or if Dorn has to make an additional pit stop. Because Rogel Dorn, Riley Sampson, and Bryce Egan being currently scored as the leaders, and currently only 5 cars remain on the lead lap. And they have not yet pitched. The top 5 have not yet come down the pit lane. So they're trying to stretch it as long as they can. Trying to catch a caution here, but they're not going to. Here comes Dorn, here comes Sampson and Diacomo as well. Bryce Egan and Nathan Stapleton, so all 5 of the top 5 staying out, so here we go. This is going to be the battle for the race lead between Aaron Abel and Caleb Rose. Pacific Racing has been insane so far this season. It's been an up and down night here for Pacific Racing. Caleb Rose, the only driver in their stable, still in position to get the job done. Just coming off the pit lane, Bruno Diacomo and these guys are going to fly past that 79. Everybody getting their laps back. And I believe with this pass, actually, that was already the pass, so already blitzing their way by everybody is going to be Aaron Abel. And he and Caleb Rose pretty much in their own zip code unless these guys can get organized back in here. But coming around to 16 laps to go, currently the gap, 2 seconds between Abel and Rose and Case and Company. And can they catch up within these next 16 or so laps here at Charlotte? This is going to be interesting. Matthew Huber back down the pit lane. That's going to be out of the way for these leaders here for a little bit. Right now, 0.2 of a second separate the Colonel from the 48 of Abel. Caleb's going to be getting a nice run on the back end as they've got about 2.7 seconds to work with. There's Corey Case. There is Russell Blaze. How about that? If Russell Blaze were to get a win for City Chevrolet, would be getting his first career win at this track here for that organization. But now the gap down to 0.1 of a second between the 48 and the 32. 14 laps to go at Charlotte. And Corey Case and everybody else has been increasing. They've been closing in on this battle here. They're 2.4 seconds off. So they gained in 0.3 of a second that last time by. And now they're organized. Now they're all single file. They're going to be drafting with one another with 13 to go. This is going to get interesting again. Had so many drivers win the POW MIA 500. But it's that extra 100-mile push that really pays dividends for some of these drivers. Corey Case currently 2.3 seconds, so the gap closing. Needs to close a little bit more rapidly for Case and everybody else to get back up into this battle. And now the engine finally expires for Matthew Hubert, much to the mercy of the rest of the field. And that will officially put Hubert in the 40th spot. Tough break for him after a tough break so far tonight. Still 2.3 seconds the gap. And the gap now under 0.1 there. Caleb Rose right on the back end of this 48 car. You're on board with the Tide Ride. Is he going to be able to get around? Remember, these two came out on the same lap. Braden Perez watching his teammate zoom on by, cheering him on. Rose just looking for any opportunity he can to find a way around this 48, but Aaron Abel driving the race of his life right now. All 10 digits being extended from the flag stand, this time by 10 laps to go here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway in the longest race of the regular season. And the gap now 2 seconds between these top two guys. And Corey Case and Logan Alexander, they were broken up there a little bit there by the 92. Remember, Braden Perez is on faster rubber. So he might try and push these guys a little bit more up into this battle to make it maybe a 4-car race for the win. Instead, he'll like to go to the inside, and he's going to shove the 50 way up the racetrack. He might push Corey Case a little bit here going down the back straightaway. Ooh, Case, the last time by, underneath 2 seconds behind him, and he not quite in the same frame just yet. Perez looking to get around him, going through the quad oval with under 0.1 to go. But Caleb has just not been able to find a way around this 48 car. We do have some lap traffic on the horizon. Nobody that's too damaged just yet. Caleb's looking a little bit high, trying to find a little bit higher ground, but you know what? Braden Perez, he has got about 10 lap fresher tires than his teammate. He's going to catch up onto these guys. If there's anybody that's going to make this an interesting battle for the win, it's going to be Braden Perez. He's got his teammate up here. And like we saw, he was able to push the 58 past the 63. You know what? I'm liking this for Caleb Rose. He's got a teammate, and he is rapidly catching up to these drivers. 6 laps to go at Charlotte. And Perez is a-coming on those fresher tires. He's 2 laps down, but he's going to try and play in as a factor into who wins this race. He's closed up to the back bumper of his teammate. See if he'll go to the underneath of him this time by. I believe he will. He'll go to the inside. No, not able to make the move. Now he will. Or will he? Oh, that's not where he wanted to catch the 32, and Caleb is going to go the wrong direction. And now, is he going to be able to get around this 48 down the back straightaway here? He's giving a big push to Aaron Abel. And if you're Caleb Rose, you got to get back up in here. He's getting a big drafting help there from the 92. And here he comes down to the inside. Is he able to put the pass on the 48 just yet here with under 5 to go? He's not able to get around him, but again, he has got such a faster race car, and Caleb Rose just waiting, telling his teammate, hey, wait for me before you make the pass to get at least one lap down, one of your laps back, and there he goes. Aaron Abel way up the track. Here comes Caleb Rose. Can he get the run to the inside of the 48 coming to 3 laps to go? They're side by side. Aaron Abel's got the run on the outside. Caleb Rose got the inside. Can he get there quite just yet? Not able to, and they nearly touch. And Logan Alexander, lo and behold, is only a second behind these drivers. And that may have been all she wrote for Caleb Rose, but we still have 2 laps to go and some change here. 3 miles remain at Charlotte. Sticks high in the air. 2 laps to go for Aaron Abel. Is Logan Alexander going to be able to catch into this battle, or might be too little too late for him? Caleb's getting a pretty good run off the back end of this 48 car. Lap and a half remain, just 1/10 of a second between the 48 and the 32. Ford versus Toyota here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's going to come down to one final lap. 598.5 miles with 1.5 miles to go here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Can Aaron Abel hold on? Caleb Rose is going to have one more shot going through turns 3 and 4. Logan Alexander too far back to make this into a 3-horse race. Abel got the power down to the inside lane. Caleb's going to have one final shot. He's not going to get there in time. Another first-time winner here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Aaron Abel wins the POW MIA 600. And he had to fend off the Colonel to get it done. How about that for Aaron Abel? Becomes the 3rd driver this season to get their first career win. The 3rd rookie to get their first career win, and he had to hold off one of the best to do so. Ryan Durrani gets spun in the back, and a big checkup back in here. But how about that for Aaron Abel? The Racing Motorsports owner for the Loves American Truck Series gets his first career win in the longest race of the regular season. As we take a look at the standings, Aaron Abel and Caleb Rose only separated by less than 1/10 of a second, 84/1000ths of a second. The final margin of victory, Logan Alexander get another top 10 finish. Corey Case and Russell Blaze able to get 4th and 5th. Take a look at the rest of your results here. With Matthew Hubert, it was an ignition failure that took him out of the race. Mateus Bento and Logan Williams, the other 2 cars that were knocked out here after a wild race. Here, for tonight's contest in the Mission Barbecue Cup Series, as Aaron Abel becomes the 69th different winner in the NR2003 Mission Barbecue Cup Series and becomes the 98th. Not the 98th. He becomes just the different winner in the Mission Barbecue Cup Series. But he does have a win on the NASRN under his belt. In fact, he's got a couple of wins under his belt already here on the NASRN, but he didn't have a cup win until tonight. And Aaron Abel, your winner here of the POW MIA 600, going over the rest of your top 10. Owen Miles, after the start that he had, he will definitely take a 6th place run. Angel Gutierrez got 7th. Wyatt Walker with his best finish of his career, if I'm not mistaken, with an 8th place run, his 2nd top 10 in 3 weeks. Danny Fallington, the 9 car, was 9th, and Ryan Durrani was 10th. But goodness gracious, Charlotte always puts on a show. I genuinely thought that Braden Perez was able to get the power down and allow that 48, going to force that 48 car up the track and allow his teammate to get around, but lo and behold, unfortunately, they couldn't get the job done, and that's really been the story of the race for Pacific Racing here tonight. A very up and down and unfortunate race for that team. But at least they were able to get second. They were able to get another driver some really much-needed points here coming out of tonight. And, the barometer for this race, the barometer for the regular season has been cast here. We're at this second portion, officially at the second check mark of the season for a lot of these drivers. And, Logan Alexander, the last couple of weeks that he has been on it. Corey Case and Russell Blaze, they're starting to show some of their stuff. Danny Fallington, a much-needed top 10 finish, like we said. And overall, you go down Logan Williams, he took a hit. Keegan Thompson, he finished 23rd, so Keegan will take the points lead. Keegan Thompson was the only driver inside the top 5 that didn't have any sort of issues. Logan Williams and Mateus Bento, second and third in the point standings. They both wrecked out. Brandon Wilmington had his issues. And Alexander Rowe, not sure where the 84 car finished. I don't even think we mentioned Alexander Rowe here tonight. He got 12th, so not terrible. He's going to chip in a little bit into that lead of Keegan Thompson. But going into Nashville next week, this is going to get interesting here with these final 13 races in the regular season. It's going to be fun. We got Nashville next week. We got Michigan, Pocono for the final 3 races of the regular before the Duncan Month of Speed. And after that race at Pocono, we're going to take the top 32 drivers in the Duncan Month of Speed and set them off, and that's going to be a fantastic in-season tournament starting in the next 3 weeks. It's insane that the Duncan Month of Speed is starting in just a couple of weeks here on the North American Sim Racing Network, but that is enough yapping from us, and that's going to do it here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Congratulations once again to Aaron Abel for winning the POW MIA 600 presented by Mission Barbecue. There'll definitely be some Neon Dreams next weekend in the Athens of the South. Coverage for the FedEx 400 from the Nashville Super Speedway gets underway on Saturday, May 30th at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, right here on your home for the NBCS, the NESRN. Thank you once again for tuning into tonight's coverage of the NR2003 Mission Barbecue Cup Series. Here are your point standings after race 14 for the 2026 NBCS season. And from Concord, North Carolina, on behalf of the North American Sim Racing Network, my name is Trey Wright. Have a great evening, folks. We'll see you next week out in the Music City, and enjoy your Memorial Day as we honor and remember those who paid the ultimate sacrifice and are currently serving for our nation's freedom here on Memorial Day in 2026.
Give me what I want, give me what I need.